what gap were you hoping to bridge when you wrote this book?
I wanted to connect trauma survivors, supporters, lay people, and professionals. I tried to make it academic enough to satisfy that side, and I wanted to also explain it in so many ways that I can help people who, mostly people probably, who have family members who are trauma survivors. And one of my pet peeves is like, please do not re traumatize people. So we get comments, they're unbelievable. Most of the time it's like, well, that was 20 years ago, why aren't you over it? Because I wish I could be over it, but because it's still haunting me. But we
Right.
don't have the strength to say that, and that hurts. Or let's just say, I tell people all the time, if somebody comes in with a cane, am I going to give them a chair? Of course I will, right? To sit down while they're waiting. If somebody walks on the street and the car backfires and the guy throws him to the floor, I'm not going to put him on a 50 on 50. I'm most likely going to say, I wonder if he was in war. If somebody comes running in and is pale and whatever and says, my blood sugar is low, am I going to run and get them something? Of course I will.
Right.
When we come in and we say, I have chronic PTSD, and this is going to be difficult for me, can people please listen?
Yeah.
Why argue? What's the point in arguing? I'm not going to argue with a person who comes in and limps. It's just important, and we would do so much good for each other, you know?
Well, I totally agree. I think it's very important for us, especially like a sponsor and sponsee relationship.
Yes.
I need to keep my mouth shut, right? Because in a way, I'm kind of filling that role as a coach, so to speak, right? So it's important for me to listen. And
Yes.
it's also important for me to be honest. Like, I have sponsees that have children. I don't have my own children, right? So it's like I'll recommend them, hey, you know what? If you need to get a second sponsor, right, that has children that could help you on that. I mean, I could give you my opinion, but an opinion as a bachelor who's got no kids, it's like I don't think that really holds water, right?
Mhm.
However, it's like those are those things where you have to be able to, say, yeah, I can help you with this. I can't help you with that. And you got to be able to be flexible enough to listen to what exactly their needs are, I would imagine, right?
I love a comment by Brene Brown, who wrote many books, but one is The Atlas of the Heart. And she actually breaks down the difference between compassion and empathy. But the one sentence that strikes me the most is, listen to me and believe me. Why would I want to add to my story? Are there people out there who do that? Yes, but you can count them on two hands. The majority of people who have complex trauma, none of us want pity. None of us want for other people to carry our burden. But could you just believe me? I mean, I have years and years of like crazy abuse and a lot of sexual abuse.
Mhm.
And a, so to speak, friend said to me, oh, she says, your little molestation. Yeah, I had that too.
That's
I
kind of,
was just
yeah, it's
like,
like how do you discount somebody like that, right?
yeah,
It's like,
dismissive
I
and
mean,
discounting. Don't do that. Or to say to somebody, what's wrong with you? That's not what the question is. Ask and say, hey, is there anything that I can do for you right now? What's happening? What would help the most right now? I mean, you can't imagine a situation, all the situations that I experienced throughout this like district hospital were amazing. But I have yet to meet somebody who wasn't responding much nicer to a compassionate approach. Even the guys
yeah,
who flung around like seven of my security guards.
right.
I would go in there, they were still protecting me, right? And I would say, can we just talk? What are we going to talk about? Can I just sit down and talk with you? I'll sit in the door. I'm not going to sit right next to them. The dudes are still trying to watch me.
Right.
And just like what happened. Most of the time, that gave a person a moment to regroup and then to look at it and say, I can't believe I did that, but blah, 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 blah. And to not be judgmental, but believe us. I'm not making anything up.
But what you
Neither are
did there
you.
too is you took a moment to disarm them. Instead of like coming at them and attacking the individual, it was more
Right.
like took them. It's like you kind of took a moment and said, "What's your biggest problem right now?" That's all I want to know,
What is going
right?
on right now, and how can I be of help?
Exactly. It's like, do I just need to sit here and listen? And the minute, because like a lot of people don't ever have that opportunity, or a lot of people don't even take the opportunity to sit there and say, "What's your biggest problem right now?" Because
Mhm.
they'll ask, like, "How are you doing?" And it's fine. And it's just like, and that's the end of conversation. It's like, no, it's like, you really want to hear what the fuck is going on? Yeah. Tell me what's
Yes.
going on.
Yeah, give
Right.
it to me. Are you
Yeah,
sure?
exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think I can handle it. Exactly, right? So I mean, and I think that's what the art of conversation and the art of being empathetic. Not saying or even sympathetic for that matter. I mean, I might not be able to relate with a specific trauma,
Right.
right? However, I mean, the experiences may be different, but the feelings are the same. I can't
Absolutely.
empathize with you in regards to, for example, if somebody who's been sexually abused, but with somebody I've been physically abused. However, the feelings and the trauma are still the same,
Very
right? So
similar.
I can sympathize in regards to the trauma, but I can empathize to those feelings of betrayal that went on, especially when it comes to a guardian or something to that effect. So yeah, I agree with that. Um, Man, I was on a roll. I had a question, and this happens every single podcast. It's like I have a really good question, and all of a sudden it just goes poof. Let's see. We were talking about the book. We were talking about bridging the gap of the book. Again, I want to be really conscious of your time. Um, you got any question? Oh, this was it. We were talking about therapy. This is probably going to be the last question in
Okay.
regards to therapy. You and I were getting into kind of a heated debate on one of our ski trips, and you kind of took a personal. Uh, and I could be completely wrong, but we got into a heated discussion in regards to when I said in my book that not all therapists are created equal, and I don't think we ever got to a resolution on that. So I'm just kind of
Oh,
wondering, like,
we're not having a big discussion. I totally agree with you.
oh, okay. All right, cool. Because I don't know. I don't know if it was just the excitement because we were getting close to the
Mm-mm.
mountain or whatnot, but I
Yeah.
just know,
No, no,
you
no.
know. So in that case, I mean, understanding that when it comes to therapy, now I know that you deal with and dealing with post traumatic and trauma, you're going to take longer. But if there was somebody who was just seeking help, just to get, I mean, what kind of recommendations or what kind of especially as somebody who's shy, you know because there are those therapists that'll just continue to basically drain your wallet, for lack of a better word, right? So if somebody was to come in off the street and they're thinking about therapy, what are some rules or some guidance that you can say in regards to like maybe interviewing or selecting a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, when they're seeking help?
So word of mouth is not a bad idea. Asking some other people that you trust actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Many, many, many people have want to use their insurance. Go to insurance panels, get their network, take a look at the people, take a look at some of their education and some of their orientation. If anybody asks me and they say, "Can I talk to you?" Absolutely. And I don't charge for that. I'm not going to charge for consultation. I may
Right.
give somebody like 20 minutes and say, "This is what you're going to get." And they're like, "Okay." Oh, I'll keep looking around. Good. Do not stay anywhere where you're uncomfortable. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to blame and shame all the therapists and say they're all like, not doing what they're supposed to do. I've heard a lot of good stories. Um, but I tell people all the time, how long did you stay when that happened, right? Let's say
Mhm.
somebody didn't want to work with them and said, "Yeah, you're too much for me." How long did you stay? I said, "Well, I waited until the session was over." I'm like, "Why?" You just very politely get up and say, "I don't think that works for me." And I think that's absolutely legitimate.
Hmm.
If you go through into an Al-Anon or AA meeting, P.S. Not all Al-Anon and AA meetings are fantastic.
Or they're not all created equal. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why they
exactly. And
that's
I
why they
tell people,
recommend. All right. Oh, go ahead,
I
please.
tell
Go
people,
ahead.
find the meeting that works for you.
Exactly. It's recommended that you at least try 6 meetings before, leaving the program. And
Yes,
eventually at some point in time, you'll find somebody. So that's
you will.
great advice. Yeah.
You'll find the match, you know. So I had a young woman who was horribly traumatized, and the guy almost killed her by strangling her. And so her eyes were absolutely bloodshot for weeks. And the doctor in the ER told her that she was seconds away from dying. Young woman.
Mm,
And when they show up in your office and somebody screams at you and says, "Oh, you're too much for me, I can't work with you," that's okay. And the therapist has a right to say that too. But so
mm,
does the patient.
right.
I'm like, just, you know what? Find a setting that works for you. You know, of course, it's going to get challenging, but it has to feel okay. I don't want to dread to go to therapy. Don't dread it. You know, I mean, some work is hard and it's not fun, but make sure you're in a good setting where you respect it, where you have compassion, where the knowledge is there, and we I believe on the first session with everybody, if I give them at least a couple of tools, even in a consultation. I'll say, well,
Yeah.
you know what? Here's something that works for me. It works for a lot of other people because I feel I owe that to them.
Right.
I want to do that, you know? So, no, they're not all created equally. I agree with you. We didn't have a heated discussion about that. Must have been
Yeah,
something different.
it must have been another sub, possible. It's just, but it was just really interesting, and like I said, and I think it was probably the excitement of hitting the ski slope. So that was pretty neat. So, um,